Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Yes, here with a spectacular new recording of music by Michael Tippett, the Second Symphony and the Piano Concerto. Oh, this is just wonderful stuff. And if you don't know these works, you really should give them a listen because they are extraordinarily beautiful. Tippett wrote both of them, first the Piano Concerto, then the Symphony, in the immediate wake of his operatic masterpiece, The Midsummer Marriage, which he completed around 1952. And these followed right afterwards. The Piano Concerto is an amazingly lyrical, rapturous piece of music. It really is. Tippett was inspired by Beethoven's Fourth Piano Concerto, a work that he felt made the piano sing. And at this point in his career, the 1950s basically, he was interested in creating long-limbed, sort of contrapuntal singing lines. I mean, the opera is full of them, of course, being sung, and so is the concerto, with some of the same sounds, the mixture of piano and celesta, the idea of creating sort of a magical, dreamy atmosphere in places. But at the same time, although the piece is lyrical and not conventionally bravura, it must be extremely difficult to play. I mean, you could just sort of tell. It never quite goes where you think it's going to, and it really has thickets of notes. Even the slow movement, which is possibly the most difficult of all of them to listen to. I mean, it has some really crunching dissonances in its first part, is very dense. And rhythmically, it's incredibly tricky. And wow, it just really is a bear to play. And that's probably why it doesn't get as much attention as it deserves to, because it really is one of the most individual and special piano concerti of the 20th century. Just a masterpiece. And Stephen Osborne is the pianist with the London Philharmonic under Edward Gardner. Now, Osborne has already recorded the work. He recorded it for Hyperion, along with the four Tippett piano sonatas and the other works for piano and orchestra. And those are the ones to get, basically. I mean, in modern sound, there was, of course, the Colin Davis and John Ogden recording of the concerto, the premiere recording, which is also excellent. But it's a shame in a way. I mean, I'm being invidious, but it is a shame that more great pianists have not taken up the work, because it needs that kind of advocacy, the kind of advocacy it gets from Stephen Osborne, who is a remarkable pianist, a wonderful, thoughtful virtuoso in every meaning of the term. I mean, he's marvelous. And this is every bit as good a recording as the Hyperion. It might be a little bit better, actually. It's very well recorded. I mean, it's live, but there's one moment during the first movement where somebody coughs twice, and it's in perfect rhythm with the timpani. They're going da da da. You hear da da da. It just works perfectly. So, I don't worry about that. I really don't. It sounds marvelous. It's full of spontaneity. I think it's a great thing. A great thing that Edward Gardner has been doing Tippett. He did that splendid recording of The Midsummer Marriage, and this is a follow-up on that. I mean, Tippett needs advocacy. He needs to find some conductors who are willing to perform him regularly. And if Gardner does it, well, good for him. That's all I can say, because the music is wonderful. I mean, for the most part. Yes, he sort of went crazy later on and it got very strange and whatnot, but it's really, really fine music. The Second Symphony is also a very, very exciting piece. It's on the cusp of Tippett's later, bonier style, as we hear in the opera King Priam and the Concerto for Orchestra and pieces like that. His music got more difficult, and it's kind of funny how people sort of hold it against him because his music got more difficult. Other composers, when they get more difficult, everyone says, oh, it's wonderful. He's developing, he's metamorphosing, he's transmogrifying. It's just, so why can't Tippett? Some of the late stuff is great. Some of it, I think, is a little bit, self-indulgently involved. Let's put it that way. Some of the late operas are kind of weird but be that as it may, he also wrote masterpieces. And if his masterpieces happen to be earlier, I think the Triple Concerto, which is late, is fabulous. The Rose Lake, the big tone poem he wrote at the very end of his life, his last major orchestral work, is gorgeous. These pieces grow on you as you listen to them. They really do. The Second Symphony has a fabulous first movement, a beautiful lyrical rhapsodic slow movement with harp and piano and celesta and just wonderful sounds, highly elaborate, involved ornamental counterpoint. And when you play it as well as Gardner does here, he obviously gets it. And he has the orchestra in really good form. So this is a wonderful single disc introduction, frankly, to Tippett's great orchestral works. And I would snap it up immediately if I were you. I really would. It deserves all the attention that we can give it, for sure. So great job, everybody. Thanks to the LPO for releasing it. I mean, they took a risk. And I hope that it pays off for them. It deserves to. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.